look at my enormous penis, and the trouble started melting away. Look at my enormous penis, and the happy times are coming to stay. I gotta sing and a dance when I glance at my pants. I take a look at my enormous penis, and everything is going my way.
You're a dork. Hey guys, it's me, Lexi Love, and I finally finished this book, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It took me over a month to read this, and the reason why is because I don't own The Hollow City, which is the second one, and I did. Let me leave my chair. I hate reading just one book and not having the next book in the series. That is my least favorite thing in the entire world, is not being able to find out what happens next. And I have an entire to-be-read shelf, and as some of you guys know, my car is in the shop for like $1,600, so I don't exactly have like 20 bucks to be like, oh, got another book, because I can't walk into Books A Million at all. I'll just walk out with books. I finally finished this book. I've been on the last like 30 pages, page 293, for over a week. I finally finished it last night. It's really, really good. There's a reason why I got it, why it's a New York Times bestseller. You know, it's different. It's very different from any book I've ever read. This is also, Ransom Riggs is the author. This is his very first book. He went to school for cinematography in California. So the way that he writes stories, he paints a better picture of the characters, of the rooms, because he knows how to look at it visually, because he worked in movies and stuff. You know, does that make any sense? So he also has these photographs. Obviously the photograph on the cover is one of the main characters. Her name's Olivia. She levitates. And then I'm looking for more pictures. There's like notes and stuff with handwritten letters and pictures, and a lot of the pictures that he found, yes, he found a lot of these. Most of these aren't his. He found these in strange, like, there's a whole thing in the very back of the Q&A with him, but he found them in various collectors' houses. He found them in like booths and flea markets and all kinds of stuff, sorting through photographs and trying to find ones that would go along with this story. And it's a really neat way of telling a story. I've never seen anybody take this route in telling the story. So I really enjoyed it. It was different than what I normally read. So what it's actually about, it's about this 16-year-old boy named Jacob who he loves his grandfather, and he and him have, his grandfather used to tell him fantastical stories about these strange children with these strange abilities, and his old children's home back off a little island in Wales called Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Peculiar children. Why is that so hard to say? So his grandfather told him all these stories about these children, and he thought that's all they were stories. But in reality, it comes to find out that they were very much real. Every story that he told him was real. The photographs he showed him were real, and he found more photos of the same children, or at least the character did, like all kinds of crazy stuff. Like this one here, and this, like, it's like a picture of a kid's face on a dog. This is a photograph that he found. And like the one with the baby floating, and this girl in a glass bottle, like what in the world? You know, like, and he doesn't even touch on every single photograph, but it's just really interesting, everything about it, this one in particular. No, the creepy demons. Continue. So basically, his grandfather ends up dying in an accident, and I'm gonna put those air quotes around accident because it's so obvious when it happens that it's not an accident. But Jacob is led to believe by his psychiatrist, Dr. Golan, that it was nothing more than just an accident. I'm just gonna make a face at you because you'll figure it out. I'm trying to make this a spoiler-free book review. So basically, Jacob set sail for Wales to go and find the small island with his father, to find this home for peculiar children. Because in his grandfather's dying last words, he said something cryptic, and his grandfather has always been known to be very blunt, like very honest and very, oh, this is how it is, and not, like his last words were like, find the bird in the loop, stuff like that. So he has no idea what that means. Later in the book, you find out obviously what it means because his grandfather is literal in a literal sense, so the whole thing is literal. It's not a mystery. But you don't realize that because you don't have enough information. So he embarks off to Wales. He finds the home for peculiar children, and the entire thing is destroyed, like just torn apart by bombs, and like the entire village is telling him that they died years ago. But as he like rummages around and finds out more information, he comes to find out that these children may very well still be alive and may very well still be very, very, very dangerous. But I give the book 5 photographs out of 5 photographs because honestly, the suspense was really good. The characters were really unique. I loved the writing style because it was so different than what I normally read. And I know I need to be breaking out of my shell a little bit more because I'm so stuck on my sci-fi novels. I'm very obsessed with James Patterson, and I stick with a lot of his stuff and fairy tale books. But I've been trying to break out of my shell and new books to read, and this one was definitely, it's not a hardback, 5 out of 5. It was really good. It was really, really, really good. I am impressed with Ransom Riggs. I really am. This is his very first book, and it's a New York Times bestseller. Like, you can't get any better than that. You really can't. I cannot wait to read The Hollow City. I cannot wait. But the main reason why I read this book is because September 30th, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the movie, comes out. I saw the previews before I read the book, so I was like, this is really weird. Because when I first saw the book and I read the back, if you take the time to read the back, it doesn't give you a lot of information. It gives you a lot of information, but you wouldn't realize how much information it gives until you actually read the book. Because the entire book is a journey of him like figuring all this crap out. And I don't know, now that I've gone back and watched the preview, now that I've read the book, I'm just sitting here seeing all the things that are wrong, but also looking at it from an actor's perspective after doing 4 years of theater and knowing what all it takes to put into a film. Like, I see why they had to do the things that they did. For example, the character Olive, who you see here, is obviously very, very young, and she levitates. She wears like heavy boots to keep her like on the ground. Like, they're really, in the movie they're really cute, they're like heels. But in the movie, she's more of an adult. And you're leaning, and like Jacob's kind of having a thing with her, which is completely incorrect. But on the other hand, I completely understand. But you can only understand if you've read the book. So now I'm gonna go into like a spoiler alert part because I'm gonna talk about the preview a bit more. Miss Peregrine looks amazing. Jacob looks amazing. Millard's, of course, invisible. But this whole thing with Olive is freaking me the fuck out because Bronwyn, who's supposed to be the strong-armed character, and like I get that she's supposed to look lanky, like I understand that. I still imagine her as a big, beefy character because the name Bronwyn, and she lifts ginormous things. I know that she's supposed to be lanky. But the Bronwyn that I see in the movie is literally like Olive, like right here, like the levitating small girl, except she's lifting people and ginormous things, and then Olive's a grown-up. And like, okay, this is the reason why I understand why they made Olive a grown-up, is because the other character, who's not Olive, what is her name? Emma? So the main reason is because Emma, who is the fire girl, had a thing with Jacob's grandfather. Now, if you haven't read the book, this is where it gets really confusing, but that's why there was a spoiler alert, so you totally missed it. Now I'm gonna give you some info if you don't care about reading the book at all. So basically, Miss Peregrine lives in this loop with her peculiar children, where they relive the same day over and over and over again. I think it's, I don't remember the day off the top of my head. It's like some day in 1940 or something. during the World War where the entire island gets bombed, but they live in a loop, so the loop resets just as the bombing is happening. Like literally, the bomb is coming, it touches the statue, and then resets to the next, to the day before. Miss Peregrine is the one that causes that. She has the ability to do that as well as turn into a bird, which is why she's called Miss Peregrine. It's an interesting novel. So Jacob figures that out and he ends up getting into a thing with Emma even though she had a thing with his grandfather. And from a cinematography point of view, I get it, I understand. I would totally just make one of the other characters older and make it make more sense. And then plus the whole underwater scene towards the end of the book, most likely towards the end of the movie, that you do get a glimpse of in the preview, where Olive has the ability to manipulate air, which is not entirely accurate, but whatever. And she uses air to make that whole room in the underwater ship airtight. Like, that's a really neat effect, and the whole thing is really interesting, but it also makes recording that whole part cheaper and easier. So, like, I understand. I'm pissed about it, but I understand. Trying not to be pissed. I'm trying to wait until I see the movie to actually, like, be mad about it, but we shall see. That was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, 5 photographs out of 5 photographs. I started my next one, Cinder. Oh, back to my fairy tale books. And the reason why I'm so excited to read this is because it's been out forever. I know it's been out forever. I'm really behind on all my books. It's been a couple of years, guys, okay? So the reason why I'm so excited to read this is because already I'm not even a full chapter in, and it reminds me so much of Stitching Snow. I'm pretty sure that Stitching Snow came out after. I would have to look that up to make sure, because this has been out for forever. There's like a whole other series of books that I have to read after this one. The cover's really beautiful. Cinderella's a cyborg in like a futuristic society where they have ID chips in their hands, and like she's already met the prince in a few seconds. She has a really memorable sidekick named Aiko, and like, it's crazy that I'm saying already really memorable and I just started reading it, but honestly I feel like I'm gonna remember this book for a very long time. I'm already pretty obsessed with it and I can't wait to finish it. It's gonna take me a while though, because I got a lot of stuff going on, but I mean, I already really like this book and I can't wait to read the next one. So, stay tuned for Cinder. So, Stephanie's boyfriend, Billy, is graduating from Marine Boot Camp on Friday. So, Stephanie and I are leaving at like 4:30 in the morning after working the night before and going and getting our hair done, lots of hairspray, and then drive down in the morning to go and watch him graduate. Because it's really early, it's a couple of hours away. We're gonna go meet his parents for breakfast, go see him graduate, come back, and then the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I have my friend's 21st birthday. So needless to say, I'm going to be very drunk this weekend, and I'm not recording any of it. You don't want to see me that drunk. If we do any drunk things, it'll be like a drunk best friend tag or a drunk game with CJ and Stephanie, okay? I promise. One day we'll do a drunk thing because now I'm 21 and now it's legal for me to do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see more, just like it up, subscribe to me, and I'll have more book reviews whenever I just finish a book. Try and doing at least one once a month. It just depends on how crazy life is. Sometimes there's like 2 in a week. It just depends. It depends. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I really love you guys. Bye! Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's like, I have to think about it. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. If I say it too fast, it's like, where was I? But as he Scrimmages? Scrimmages? I don't know how to pronounce that word.